Okay. Good morning to everyone in this session for the course CA 301 Web Designing. Up to this, we have covered major topics which are related to the introduction to web development, and we have covered all the topics and the advanced features about HTML5. You know how to code for including audio video elements or the audio video in the web page, how to use geolocation feature, drag and drop features, how to make use of web workers. So these advanced features along with the other elements like designing forms, then making use of the text, links, images that we have covered in second unit. And now we are starting with the unit third, in which we are going to learn how to make use of CSS to format elements of a web page. So how do we can make use of CSS? For that, we need to include CSS in a web page. So there are three ways to include CSS in a web page. That ways we are going to learn here in this session. Why to make use of CSS? In previous lecture, we have discussed that if you put all the formatting and designing rules in one file, which is the CSS file, you may include that CSS file in several other web pages, and you can apply that rules to the several web pages. So when we design CSS, particularly we have to code the selectors. So in this session, we will learn that three ways, how to code the selectors and how to work with text and links, means how to format the text and links by using CSS. So see here, there are three ways to include the CSS in a web page. We already have covered this, but I am taking revision of all these topics fastly. So first way is with the help of link element. So link, rel, style sheet, type attribute, text slash CSS, href, specify the path of the CSS file. Second way is making use of style element and the import directive. So style type is equal to text slash CSS at the rate import, and here the complete path of the CSS file. Put this into the web page. So that will include the CSS file in your web page. So these two options that we have discussed here, which is making use of link element and making use of style element, both are called as the external style sheet. And the third one, which is the internal style sheet, is that in the head section, what you do, or in body section also it works, what you do, make use of the style element. So style type is equal to text slash CSS, choose the element to which you want to apply the rule. So H1, for example, color blue, font size you want 18 point, and then close this block of the style sheet and close the style element. So your H1 element will be applied by these rules and will be rendered accordingly. So let us see practically how do you can implement these three ways. So I have opened here one notepad instance, and in that I am typing the code. So let us see the code. First of all, we will create the HTML file, and then we will create the CSS file. So here put the head section, and in the head section put the body section. All these practicals you have to do by your own at home. I will put this source code on the website that I have designed for you specially. On that page, I will put all these source code today about this today's lecture, and then you can download download. You can download the source code and you can learn. So in the body section, in H1, just put one line. So see here, I have just put a H1, and now in the CSS file, see I am creating a CSS file. In CSS file, this H1 is called as a selector. This H1 is called as the selector. So put color, here is the property. When we write property, name of the property, colon, value of the property, and this you put in curly brackets. And every rule should be ended by semicolon. So color, colon, blue, semicolon. Save this file as say css1.css. And now I will add one more property such as font dash size or say style is equal to italic. Save it. And now here I will add link element. So this is the first way. This is the first way to include the CSS file in the HTML. Link rel is equal to style sheet. Type is equal to text slash CSS. And href is equal to, what is the name of the file? css1.css. If you have saved this file in the another folder, please give the complete path. That can be absolute path or that can be relative path. So css1.css. Save the files, both the files, HTML and CSS, launch it in the Firefox. You will see that the output H1 is rendered in blue color and in italics. So this way, the first way is implemented, which is by using link element. Now I will put this first way, use of link element in comment. How to put comments in HTML? You know, this way we can put. Now let me code the second way, which is by making use of style and the import directive. So style type is equal to text slash CSS @ import is equal to, again give the name of the file in double quotes. See, there is no equal to, so @ import css1.css semicolon. See the correct syntax. And now run once again. So the same rule is applied. Why? Because we have included the same file css1.css. So again, I will put comment to this second way also, and I will use now the third way. So these two are the external style sheets that we have added. And now we will make use of internal style sheet. So in the head section, we will make use of style element. So style type is equal to text slash CSS in double quote. And now here in the pair of start and end tag of style element, put the rules. So H1 and in curly brackets, make use of the rule color colon, give the color purple for example, and here font style is italic semicolon. So save it and execute the code. means launch it into the Firefox, you will see that the H1 is rendered in purple color. So this way we can apply the three ways, or we can make use of the three ways. Either way you can use. If you are making use of link element, don't use the other two ways. But if you are making use of import directive, you can ignore link element. Any way you can use. So external style sheet is good idea to use because you can keep your rules separate. So this way you can implement the three ways. Now next to that, the next point we will learn how do we can specify the measurements. We have to use the measurements while specifying font size and the margin properties. Like here on the screen, you can see code, font size specified in percentage, margin left is specified in EM, padding bottom in EM, like this. So what are the common units of measures? So common units of measures can be specified by making use of the symbols px, pt, em and percent. So px means pixels, pt means points, em means ems and percent sign means percent. Px and pt are the absolute type of the measures and em and percent are the relative type of the measures. What is a pixel? It represents a single dot on the monitor. The number of dots per inch depends on the resolution of the monitor. You know it. And what is a point? It is 1/72 of an inch. What is em? It is equal to the font size of the current font. Means if the current font of your browser is 16, 1 em will be is equal to 16. 2 em will be is equal to 32, like that. And percent means it specifies relative to the current value. If suppose current value of the font is say 20 and if you specify 80%, so 80% of 20 will be calculated and that will be the font size. So this will be related to font. If you have regarding margin, so current margin values will be taken and then it will be computed. So therefore they are called as relative because they are based on the current values and therefore they are called as the relative. But absolute means directly the value that you are specifying. So that is the difference between absolute and the relative types. So this way we can make use of these four common units of the measure. Let us perform the use of all these common units of the measure in the CSS file and see how you can specify them in the CSS. So we will create a HTML file and one CSS file. So in that we will make use of these common units of the measures. So how we can implement? We can implement it very easily and I will be making use of the link element here to link to the CSS file. That is the commonly good approach to link the CSS file. So learn how to use CSS to format elements of a web page and how to make use of common units of the measures. So make use of link element, rel is equal to style sheet. Then type is equal to text slash CSS. Is equal to the name of the CSS file. That test.css. And now here we'll make use of the common units of measure. I request everyone you to please keep your mic mute because if suppose this lecture is got recorded properly, I can put it for you people on YouTube. So please mute your mic. Mute your mic. So Px and Pt are the absolute measures. Em and percent are the relative measures. See, these points, though you must be feeling simple, or you may feel that, okay, these are the things that I can do it. But then see carefully when I am teaching you some topic, at that time, please concentrate, because you have to appear for examination, and that will be of type objective. So small points, if you have in your brain, if you keep them in your mind, you can select the correct answer, because the wrong answer will reduce your complete 1 mark. So therefore, I request you that all the things you should carefully listen and you should do it, because you have to appear for the objective exam, such as, for example, PX and PTR dot types of the measures, absolute, relative, or anything else, that type of the options. So you should know that PX and PT are the absolute one, while EM and percent are the relative ones, like this. This I have given you one example, but like this, several things can be asked in the form of the multiple choice questions. Now here I am giving ID to all H3, because I have to refer separately to the H3 element, and therefore I am giving separate identifier name to the H3. So H3, A1, A2, A3 and A4. And I will now code the selector by using the way ID. How to code using the way ID? Put a symbol, we have to put the symbol hash followed by that name of the ID, A1. So A1 means that first H3. And for that font size, I am giving as a 20 px. So this is the first unit of the measure px. Now I will use A2, and for that I will give font size is equal to, in points I will give now. So font size is equal to, say, 30 point, 30 pt. See, it is pt, it is not pts. So sometimes students make confusion whether points or points. So these small things are also very important to understand. If you will do them practically by your own, then only you can able to recall, or you can able to remember that what is the correct word, whether PT or PTS or what. This is, for example, I am telling you. This way you have to do for all the topics. So 2 EM I am giving for A3 and 100% for A4. So this way I have used here all the 4 units of the measures. Just save file as a test.css and see the CSS file here. In HTML file, I have included it as a test.css. And now just launch it into the Firefox. You will see that these different things. See, first one is rendered according to the px, and then em percent, like that. So this way we have implemented the 4 common units of the measures, and you have just seen the output. So like this we can code in CSS, in which we can make use of the common units of measures. Now next to that we will learn how do you can specify the colors. So there are 3 ways to specify the colors in the CSS file. First is color name. Second is by using RGB value, red, green, blue value. And third one is RGB value that uses hexadecimal numbers. Color names, you know, several color names, you know, the color name you put. But RGB value you can specify by 2 ways. One is by using percent symbol. So 50% of red, 25% of green and 25% of blue. Which color will be generated? Find out it. Then 128 red, 64 part for green, 64 for blue. Max value is 255. So it will range from 0 to 255. This also you should remember, 0 to 255. And then the hexadecimal values which precedes by hash. Remember this, hexadecimal values or the numbers precedes by hash. Now, which site will give you the details about these hexadecimal numbers of the colors? You can find out from this w3.org, w3.org, and then in that you can go to the CSS-color-3 page, and on that you can find out all the details regarding this list, such as the list of the hexadecimal numbers for the colors and all that. Now you can see in the next slide that how do you can code practically to make use of the color names. So let me copy the code. So same code I will be using here, in which I have put the things. So let me change the name of the file such as testcolor.html. I will be saving it. And now here just change the content such as learn how to specify colors in CSS. How to specify color in CSS. I specially typed all these files to you and have been recorded. Because why I have done it? Because if I open Notepad instance in before you over here, you are not able to see it properly. It loses the sharing. So therefore, in the PPT file itself, I have embedded all that recordings so that it is not disconnecting to you people now and you can see it properly. So therefore, you should take benefit of all these things and you should learn it. So first way is, which is the first way? With a color name. With a color name. Second way is by using RGB value. So second way is with RGB value. And the third way, so with RGB value. And the third way is by making use of hexadecimal number. So third way is with an hexadecimal number. And now see, I will apply all these things to the A2, A3 and A4 in the CSS. See, first way we will do by color name A2 for A2, for A3 and then for A4. Let me create a new file for CSS and in that I will be referring by using ID. So hash A2, so which is for color name. I have given that line by using color name and therefore I will use it as a color name. See, select properly cascade style sheet option .css or style sheet and here test color .css. I will give same name as of HTML names. So when you will download the sample code, at that time you can easily link them. So font color. So first way is color name. So I am giving color name as a red color. So this is the first way. To A3, I will give the second way. So color and RGB value I am going to use. So RGB. So I am giving 0, 255. So what will be the color? Red, green and blue. So it will be green completely because I am giving 255 as a value to green and 00 means red and blue will be completely absent. Then color hexadecimal number. Some hexadecimal number I am giving here, such as say hash. Some hexadecimal number I have identified and I am using it as a A6F. So that is some color. Let us see that how do it will look in the HTML browsers. So run it. So testcolor.css and now run into the Firefox. Whatever the browser that you are using, in that you should launch it from the notepad. So see, first is in red, second is in green, and that hexadecimal number was of purple color. So this way we have specified the color information by using these three different ways. First is by using color name, second RGB value, and third is hexadecimal. So these are the three different ways that we have learned by which you can specify the color information. Now, in the next section of this particular lecture, we'll be learning how do you can code the selectors. So there are three ways to code the selectors. First is by element, second is by ID, and third is by class. So first is this By element name means directly make use of the element name. Second is by specifying ID means hash preceded by that the ID that you have specified. And class means dot and copyright. So this copyright should be the value of class attribute somewhere in the HTML5. Let us see how do you can implement these three ways with the help of example. So here in the HTML file, we will implement it. So firstly, I will be typing the code for you so that you can see it. So test code selectors .html, and then we will implement a CSS file. So here make two sections, head section and the body section. And here title I am giving learn how to code selector. How to code selectors. Learn here coding selectors. Okay. So three ways I am going to put here. So therefore I will put in the body section three different elements and we will apply the three ways. So first is H3. So H3 we will directly be referring in the CSS as H3. So we can code selectors by three ways. We can code selectors by three ways. So this and then H3 first way, first using element name. Second using ID. The second way is using ID, means identifier. So you have to give that ID as attribute value to that element. So third, using class. So class is again the common attribute that you can use to any element. So I will give here H1, so it will be separate element. And now to these three H3s, I will be differently calling them in the CSS file. So I will give ID to this as say H2, A2, and for this class. So class is equal to some value say A3. So here ID A2, class A3 for the two header elements. And first H3, I'm not giving either ID or class. And directly I will use it as a H3. Or I have changed it to H2. So no problem. By any way you can refer it. So here I am coding the selector by the name first way. So element name H2. So element name is H2. So specify H2 and then give some properties. Now you should try to give different types of the properties when you are coding in the CSS. So here I am giving font style is equal to italic. So first one will be italic. So save it as a CSS file. We have to link it also in the HTML file. So save it. I will give the same name as test code selector dot CSS. And now I will refer by ID. So here first of all just link it. So link rel is equal to style sheet. And then here type is equal to, I will correct that dash as to equal to later on. So text slash CSS href is equal to here test code selector dot CSS. So this way. And now here I will refer ID. So how to refer it ID? Remember the way is put hash followed by that ID. If it is in capital, put capital. If it is small, write small. CSS is case sensitive. Remember, CSS is case sensitive. So if you are giving ID in capital, you have to give ID in capital. If it is small, then small. If you are making use of mixed, you should give mixed. Now to specify third way, making use of class, you have to precede it by dot. Remember. So dot A3, the name of the class. A3 font, say I am giving weight. So font weight is equal to bold. font weight is equal to bold. So give the font weight is equal to bold or bolder, and then save it. Color I am giving, so two properties, say red, and now try to see it into the browser. So see into the browser the output. So if you will run it into the browser, you will find that so it is not applied. Why it is not applied? See, at the time of recording I made mistake, so I have to correct it. So that dash should be corrected to equal to. So save it and then run it. So you will find, see, the rules are applied now. So first one is in italic, second I have given color purple and then some value of the font, and then third one is color red and font weight is equal to border. So like that the properties are applied and you can see the output in the browser. So this way you can code by three ways. First is by using element name, second is by making use of the ID, second is by making use of the class. Okay, now we will learn in the next slide that how do we can code the selectors for descendants, combinations and siblings. So descendant means what? Descendant means that element which is inside the another element. So that is descendant. There is a hierarchy maintained in the HTML file. So parent element, child elements, like that. So descendant will be the element which is coded inside the another element. So this way, this is the descendant, example of descendant, such as for example in the UL means in the list, if I have coded anchor element, so that will be its descendant. Then multiple selectors you can select in the CSS file by separating all those elements or whatever the way, by separating them by comma. So H1, comma H2, comma H3. So all these elements will be applied by this rule. Similarly here P, comma, this here I have used class dot means the third way by making use of class. So ul dot speakers. And then likewise I have here selected the multiple selectors. Now adjacent sibling. What do you mean by adjacent sibling? If suppose in the hierarchy you have two elements on the same level. So adjacent sibling means the next element which is on the same level. So that is the adjacent sibling. So how you can commonly choose them or commonly you can code them in the CSS by putting plus symbol in that. For example, say H3 plus P over here. With the help of example, you will understand it in a good manner. So see here, I am going to implement here descendants, multiple selectors and siblings. So carefully see so that you will get the difference between these selectors, different selectors. So save the file in the usual folder today, and then here I will give name test code selector 1.html, and then here we will put the head section, and then here I am putting the body section. So how to code? So how to code selectors for descendants? How to code descendants? Then I'm going to put here in the body section link element. So link rel style sheet, and then type is equal to text slash CSS, and then here href. So name of the href file is code sel1.css. And now here we'll implement descendants. First of all, so I will put here one div section. So div id is equal to main. And in div, I am giving h1. See here, understand the hierarchy. In h1, we are putting some heading such as learn how to or learn different types of the selectors. Learn different types of the selectors. And now I am putting here one unordered list, UL. So in UL, I am giving the first element li. So first is descendants. Second li I am giving as a combinations. Value of the second li is combinations. Value of the third li is siblings. Okay, and then here what I will do, I will implement here the descendants. So in the CSS, I will refer to the div section by ID. So ID is hash main. So first of all, save the file as code sel1.css and see here refer hash main and then descendant. Li is the child element of div. You can see in div you have a ul and in ul you have a li. So li will be the child of div. So hash main li color red. So all these LIs means descendants, combination and siblings. All these LIs will be in red color. You can see. So all those are in red color. So this way we have implemented here descendants. We have implemented here descendants. Now we will implement multiple selectors. So CSS is very nice. So H1, H2. So both I am going to select. Let's add one more H3. So in the H3, you type a line. Okay. So again, it is going to that color. Let me move further. See here, H2 I am putting, and in H2, CSS is very nice. And then H3, I will put one more element, H3, and in that, there are lots of features. Okay, now we will implement multiple selectors. So H1, H2, H3. So in CSS, put H1, comma, H2, comma, H3. So this way you can implement multiple selectors. So here multiple selectors are implemented. Color. So all the header elements will be in blue color now. You can find that if you will execute now this code. So H1, H2 and H3 all will be in blue color. See, all are in blue color. You can find. So thus this way we have implemented that multiple selectors. Now let us implement the siblings. This is important to understand. See, sibling, adjacent sibling. See, after first H1, I am putting one paragraph, means one P element, first para. And then after H2, I am putting second para in the P element. And now after H3, I am putting one more P element, third para. Okay, see, remember, where do I have put the P elements? After H1, after H2, and after H3. Now, if I want to refer to a particular para, first, second, or third, how I can refer? If suppose I am referring to H3 plus P, which para will be referred? Third para. Why? Because it is sibling to the H3. Sibling to the H3. So H3 plus P, color green. So only that third para will become green. If I select H2 plus P, means second para. So that will be in color, say, I will give purple. Remember the color names we have given. To the third para green, to the second para purple. And now you see, when we apply the CSS, then your second para will be in green and third para will be in purple color. You can find, see, second para is in purple and third para is in green. So this way adjacent sibling can be implemented. So here we implemented descendants, combinations, multiple selectors and the siblings. Combinations means at a time you can implement the different ways. That is just simply the combination. So this way we have implemented coding of the selectors by using that ways. Now in the next slide, we will understand how do the other different types of the selectors can be implemented. See, what are the different types of the other selectors? Here, the universal selector. What do you mean by universal selector? Universal selector means wherever that property is in the web page, that property will be applied by this rule. So for example, color green. So wherever there will be color attribute in the complete web page, the value of that color will be green and it is applied to all. Why to all? Because it is universal selector. And how do you can specify universal selector in the CSS file? By using this star. So meaning of star means it is universal selector. Now you can make or you can choose the child element. So how do you can use child element? So you can refer child element by putting this particular greater than symbol. So main or this less than symbol p means what? This p is the child of this main. Means suppose it may be div which is identified by id main. So main p, li a means li will be the parent and a will be the child. So like that you can select child. Then general sibling. So we have implemented adjacent sibling, but general sibling means it will not be exactly to adjacent, but it will be sibling to the H3 somewhere. So therefore H3 tilde sign P. So how the adjacent sibling is implemented? By making use of symbol plus. But how general sibling is implemented? By putting the symbol tilde. General siblings is a new feature which is added in the 3.0 CSS, and you can use it by using this tilde sign. Now up to this time we have used selectors as a element. We have not used yet attribute as a selectors. So can we not use attribute as a selectors? Yes, we can use attribute as a selectors. So how to choose attribute in the CSS? You can choose attribute in the CSS by this way. First way is what? A href. So to that href, the properties are applied like this. So font family, Arial, sans serif will be applied to a href. Star href means to all href, whether it's a hrefs or it's another href for say the another different href element or href attribute you can have. So to all that, this font size colon 95% will be applied. And input type is equal to submit. So what is this type is equal to submit means? It is a button. So that button border will be of 1 pixel size. It will be solid in nature. It will be black in color. So that border will be black in color, but the button will be in this color. Background color of that button will be this. So like this, you can select the attribute and you can code them in the CSS. Okay. So this way we can code the different types of the selectors. Now we will learn how do you can code the pseudo class selectors. So what are pseudo class selectors? They are predefined selectors which are implemented. So we have pseudo classes in CSS such as colon link, colon visited, colon h over, colon active, colon first child. So colon link means a link which has not been visited. Colon visited means a link that has been visited. H over means an element when the mouse is hovering over it. Means when, if suppose I go onto a particular link, so mouse is over the link, so that is h over. At that time h over is applied. Active means when I click on that particular link, it becomes active, and then after that it becomes visited when you visit to that web page actually. Now first child means this predefined class indicates what? An elements that's the first child elements of its parent element. So that first child element you can select by using colon first child. Now the default values for this unvisited links is blue. For visited, it's a navy. Then for h over, you can have font weight bold. For active, it's a purple. Like this, we are going to implement this practically. But before that, let me explain you one another important topic related to this formatting HTML pages or web pages by using CSS. So up to this, we have learned several different ways to put the rules in the CSS. So if you put many different rules in the CSS, which rule will be applied first? How do it's cascaded? So that cascading properties are explained here on this slide. So how the cascade rule works? if you wish to specify that some property is important, that should be implemented or that should be applied first. So how do you can put rule as important? See, in this example, you can see dot highlight means it is a class. Now dot highlight and in the curly brackets font weight colon bold, and followed by that you can see there is a keyword which is preceded by exclamatory sign. Exclamatory sign important and semicolon. So this way this particular rule becomes important. So we can put some rules as important. So that will be the highest priority, top priority to the important rules. Then what is the cascade order for applying the CSS rule sets? So the cascade order is important rules in the user style sheet. That will be the top priority. Then important rules in the web page. Means if in the internal style sheet, if you have used this keyword, so second priority will be to those rules. Then normal rules in the web page, and then normal rules in the user style sheet. And then the last priority will be to the default rules in the web browser. So whenever an element is rendered, how do the rule is applied? If you have put some important rules for that element, then that rule first of all will be selected. Then important rules for web page, then normal rules for the web page, and then normal rules in the user style sheet. And if suppose no rule is specified amongst these four, default rules of the web browser, that will be applied to that element, and accordingly that is get rendered. So this way the cascade order for applying the CSS rule sets is there. Now how to determine the specificity of a selector? Means some student have asked me the question that in the last lecture that first of all, or what way I should select when I want to code the selectors. So see, you have to understand specificity of the selector. If you want that the selector should be most specific, so that one should be most specific. So you have to use ID. So ID. So ID is most specific. Class, attribute selector, and pseudo class selectors is less specific as compared to the ID. And an element or pseudo element selector is the least specific. So this is the hierarchy for the specificity. Okay, ID, and then class, attribute selector or pseudo class selector, and then element or pseudo element selector. So see, these topics are also very much important from the point of view of your examinations, in that the multiple choice questions can be easily be asked to you people. So try to understand these topics, that how do you can cascade the rules. You see it, try to learn it, try to do it practically. If you get any difficulty, you can ask me anytime. Now, in the next section of this lecture, we will learn how to work with text and links. So I will explain you first of all the things, and then I will demo you at the end all this in a one demonstration. So how to set the font family and font size. So what are the different font families? So there are these 5 font families: serif, sans serif, monospace, cursive, and fantasy. See, these are the examples of these different types of the font families. Times New Roman is a serif. Serif means what? If you will see a character, to that character there are some, you can see that some strokes are there. So that are serif. And sans serif means plain stroke ends. Like we have a font Arial. So Arial is a sans serif. So we do not have a stroke ends. Monospace means fonts that use the same width for each character. So this Courier New is a monospace. Cursive, fonts with connected flowing letters, like cursive handwriting we do. So Lucida is the font which is cursive. And then Fantasy, so decorative styling. So Impact is Fantasy font. Let us do it practically so that you will understand how do you can code. So how to specify font family? You can specify font family by using font family property. So font dash family colon. Here you can specify the values. How to specify size? You know it. So this way you can put in the style sheet. So the other properties of the styling fonts are font style and the values for font style are normal means it will be normally the style will be normal that we commonly use. Italic means italic will be applied. Oblique is also like a italic. Then font weight. So for font weight property, what are the possible values? Normal, bold, bolder, lighter, or you can have font weight as a value, such as say 100, 200, 300. So it will be multiples of 100 from 100 through 900. So bolder and lighter are relative to the parent element. Bolder means if suppose parent element have some percent, so bolder than that. Similarly, lighter than that. So they are relative. But normal and bold are the absolute values. So bold means totally the bold will be applied. Then font variant. So this keyword specifies whether small caps will be used or not. So normal and small caps. These are the two possible values for font variant. Then line height. This is also one of the property that you can use while working with the text. So what is this? This specify the relative or the absolute values or a number that specifies the amount of vertical space for each line. Means when a line is displayed on a browser's window, what size vertical space it should use. That you can also change by using CSS. So that line height. So that line height you can specify. So remember, these are the other properties for styling the fonts along with the font dash family, such as font dash style, font dash weight, font dash variant, line dash height. For font dash style, the values are normal, italic, oblique. For font weight, the values are normal, bold, bolder, lighter, or a number, which will be multiples of 100. Similarly, for font dash variant, it will be normal and small caps. And line height, it will be again a number. So that can be relative or absolute. And that is what specifying the amount of the vertical space. So all these topics are very much important to understand. I hope everyone you will understand here and will do practically. So see here on this slide, example code is written. How to specify the font styles. So this way you can specify font style. Font style italic, font style normal, font variant small caps. Again, how you can specify font weights. So font weight 700, font weight bold, font weight normal, and font weight lighter. So what is bold means? It is 700. The value is 700. Normal means value is 400. So like that. Then here line height. Line height is 14 point or it's 140% or 1.4 em or 1.4. So like this you can specify line height. Now when you are specifying all the properties, so separately you can make use of all these separate properties like font family, font style, font weight, line height. But common syntax is also supported in CSS, and in that all the properties you can specify. Like see here, font, then colon, style. First value will be of style. Second will be of weight. Third will be of variant. And then fourth will be of size and slash line height. So you can specify size followed by line height. And then after that, you can have here the family. So last one is the family. Last one is the family. So likewise here, all the properties combiningly, you can specify in one line by using the property font. So this way you can code the text by using the CSS. So other properties for indentation and for aligning the text you can use are such as text slash indent. You know, indentation means the tab when we give. Suppose, for example, when you write a paragraph, then what we do normally we put a tab because it is the start of the paragraph. So likewise, if you want to specify that indentation, you can specify is text slash indent and a value, how much space you want as an indentation. So it will be relative or absolute value, which will be determining the indentation of the first line of the text. Okay. Then text slash align. So you can align to left, center, right, and justify. So these are the possible values: left, center, right, and justify. Then vertical align. This text slash align means horizontal align. But if you want to vertically align, so vertical dash align, and the property values will be, possible values will be baseline, bottom, middle, top, text dash bottom, text dash top, sub and super. So this sub and super will be used for superscript and subscript. So vertically you can align it as a top, middle, bottom. Okay, or text bottom, text top means relative to the text. So like that you can make use of text dash align or vertical dash align. So this way for indentation and for alignment, you can make use of the properties. So see here, in this example CSS, we have used text dash indent colon 2em. So 2em space will be left for the paragraph. And for footer, text dash align is equal to right. So footer is applied to right this way. Practically, we will see it with the help of example. But before that, understand all the properties related to the text. See here, if you want to uh, put some transformations on the text, such as if you want to make all the letters uppercase, so text dash transform colon uppercase. Similarly, you can give value lowercase, so all the letters will be in lowercase. Capitalize means the first letter will be capitalized. So this way, for text dash transform, the possible values are uppercase, lowercase, capitalize. Similarly, you can decorate the text by using the property text dash decoration. So for text dash decoration, the possible values are underlined. So if you use it, then your text will be underlined. Overline means above the text there will be line. Line through means it will be the line will be in between the characters. So it will be like strike through. Then blink, your letters will blink. So like that, you can make use of the text dash transform and text dash decoration properties in the CSS to work with the text. Now let us perform how to work with the text by using CSS with the help of this example. So some of the properties I am going to implement here in this example, in which we are going to learn how do you can work with the text. So test.txt.html, and here just add the head section and the body section. And then title I will give demonstrate for working on texts, using CSS. So how we can do it? So in body section, I will put some information, and to that content, we are going to apply the rules. So body, and in that link, I will put first of all the link element. So style sheet, then rel, I put now type text slash CSS, and now href is equal to test text.css. So I have to give name of the CSS file as test.txt, same as that of HTML. So div id is equal to main. So I have put one div section, and now in the div section, I will put here h1 element, learn using text CSS properties. Some heading I have given. And then here put font families we are going to implement. So 5 generic font families. So PID, A1, serif. First font family is serif. Second, non-serif. See the code. Second is means sans serif, and third one is cursive. Sorry, it's a monospace. Text dot CSS. Now here I will be referring by ID. So ID A1, font, family, Arial, Helvetica, sans serif. So this will be the example of sans serif. Second, font family we will specify for serif. So it will be Times. So Times New Roman. See, I have 3 words and therefore I have to include it in the double quotes. So Times New Roman, Times, comma serif. So this will be using font family, which is belonging to the Times group, and it is of type serif. Then A3, so that element we are referring by using ID. So font family, we will use monospace. What is example of monospace font? Courier. Courier, new, courier, and then monospace, and then cursive, lucida, cursive, lucida, font family, fantasy. You can specify value in double quote or not in double quote. There is no difference in that. So fantasy, I can remove from double quote. Anyway, it will work properly, though I specify it in double quotes. So fantasy, impact. And for cursive, lucida. So likewise, 5 different font families we have used. And then we are going to run it now in the Firefox. So you can see here, the different text is displayed in different font families: serif, sans serif, monospace, cursive, and fantasy. Likewise. Now, some other properties I am going to implement here that you can apply for text. So I have increased the font to H4 so that you can see it more properly. Or I can make it to say H2. So more big letters you can see. See here, serif, sans serif, monospace, cursive, and impact. So likewise, that font family's output you can find out over here. Now, let us add some more properties. So give ID to the paragraph so that you can identify that paragraph separately, such as say to A. So 5 generic font families. So to that A, I will be referring here by ID. So A, hash A, I am adding in the notepad ++. hash A, and then font dash style. I am giving here it as a italic. So that particular word should come as a italic. Which line should come as a italic? These 5 generic font families. So see here, 5 generic font families. It is not coming in italic. So why it is not working? So so let us change the name ID because it may be creating conflict because all those are A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. So I will give ID as say ABC. ABC. So just change the name to something different as ABC. So I am adding color here also, but that is not get also applied. Here, color is not also applied. And now we will change ID to say ABC. So here also ABC, save the file and now it will work because it is getting conflict in the word. So it is searching for A and not obtaining. So now it is in italic and in red color. So this way we have applied here font style. So that font style can be italic, it can be normal, it can be oblique. Now I am giving here value oblique. So oblique will be like italic only. So just save this file and launch it into the Firefox. So it is like a italic. So here either you can use italic or you can use oblique. Then after that we will apply some other properties such as to ABC only, means to that first heading I will apply font weight. So I will put here bolder, for example. So bolder, the value bolder I am giving, or first of all see it bold. So you can find that 5 generic font families in bold. Now it is in bold because we have given bold as the font weight. Now we can give it to bolder. So for font weight, bold, bolder, and then lighter. These are the possible values. Now again it is bolder. So at the place of bolder, if I put lighter, so you can find the difference between the bolder and lighter now. See here, we have made the font weight lighter. And now if you will see the output in the Firefox, you see it becomes a lighter now. It is not remaining bold. So it is lighter than that of the values, the other bold values. Now we will make use of that text transform property. Let us apply that text transform property. So here value it is putting, so font weight is 500. So it is bold. It will become something bold other than, see now 900. So it will be more bold than that of the 500. So it is bold now. So likewise, you can specify value or bold or bolder or lighter over there for font dash weight, for the property font dash weight. Now let us use font dash variant. It is using font dash variant. So for font dash variant, we have value, possible value, say small caps. I'm using small caps. So see here, font weight. Learn using text, 5 generic font families. So that will be in small caps now. Okay, 5 generic font families. So small caps means what? Everything are in caps and the first letter is capital 1 and others are in small size. So that way small caps is displayed. So that property we have used, which is font dash variant. Now see, we will use font dash transform or text dash transform. Sorry, it's a text dash align. Okay, text dash align. So we will align it, suppose to right. So text dash align to right. So it is aligned to right. You can see that particular heading is aligned to right. Now text dash align, we can have the another values like center. If I put it as a center or as a left, so what will be the output? Left means it is by default. You can see that it is left aligned by default. Default value is left. And now if I do it as a center, text dash align center. So launch it into the Firefox. So HTML should be actually seen in the Firefox. So see here, it is center aligned. It is aligned to center. So like this, we can make use of text dash align. The property text dash align. Now after this text dash align, we will include some more properties. Okay, such as text dash indent. See that indentation we will give. Suppose say 4 em. I am giving 4 em. Now see what difference you will see. See due to 4 em, you can see. So one tab means that particular indentation is left over there. So that way that space for indentation has been put by the browser. So 4 em. So em is the relative one. So whatever will be the current value, that is multiplied by 4. So that is selected. Now text dash transform. So text dash transform, and for that the possible values, yes, uppercase. If I will use now uppercase, so uppercase, lowercase, then sub, sup, and sub are the values that you can use. So all are in capitals now, because I have used uppercase. Now if I give capitalize, the other value I can have capitalize, but before that give lowercase. So all the letters will be now in small font. Okay, so that small font is used over there. Now for lowercase, it is not that our lowercase A, B, C, D. See the difference, uppercase and lowercase. Otherwise, you will see that capitalize. I'm using here capitalize. So see the output for capitalize. That F, G will come in big font. So F, G, F, and that, and all others are in. So it is like a small caps. It is like a small caps. So text dash transform capitalize. Then after that, the last property that we are going to learn here, text dash decoration. Text dash decoration. This is the property that we can use here while working with the text. So underline, I've used text dash decoration underline. So the particular line is underlined. Now if I am putting here overline, see how do that overline will look. So overline. So just see it in the browser. See overline. So it will be over the line. That underline will be over the line. And then after that we will use line through. So it is line dash through. Remember these keywords. This is also important. You should know what are the possible values for text dash decoration. That is underline, overline, and then line through, blink. These are the possible values. Line through's output, you have seen that it is like a strike letters, and then blink. So it will blink there in the browser. You will not see that effect properly because it is not going to blink in the recording, so that you will not find. But actually you can see that how do it is blinking during your own practical demonstration. So text dash decoration blink. So like that, these are the different properties that we can use while working with the text, like font style, font family, font size, then font variant, font weight, then text dash indent. text dash transform, text dash decoration. Okay, so this way we can implement and we can work with the text. Now the last topic from this chapter we have to understand, and it is about how to format the links. So links, how do we can create links in HTML? By using anchor element, a element. Now we already have learned in the previous slides that in CSS we have a pseudo classes for the links such as unvisited, visited, active, h over. So these are what the pseudo classes that are supported by the CSS. So CSS for text links you can use, like for anchor element you can specify font weight is equal to say bold. For a link color blue. For a colon visited color green. For a colon active color fuchsia. A colon h over color fuchsia again. So likewise we will see it practically that how do you can implement and how do you can work with the links by using CSS. So let us demonstrate it with the help of practical. So test link.html, and that create the head section, body section. Here put the title, demonstration, for working on links. Okay, using CSS. And now in the body section, first of all, we have to make use of link element. So link element we will put. Let us put one div section such as say div id is equal to main, and then in that we will put an anchor element. So somewhere we have to make use of anchor element. So in the div section, first of all, let us put some heading so that we can understand that what we are learning over here. So this example is for pseudo classes. And now in the list, we'll put the element as a link. So a href is equal to, I'm not going to create the actual href pages. So like this, this is unvisited link, for example, unvisited. So likewise, some links we are going to add. Unvisited links are in blue color by default. Are in blue color by default. Similarly, visited links. Visited links are in purple color by default. Then active links are in red by default. Okay. Now here we will make use of the link element. So link rel is equal to style sheet. Type is equal to text slash CSS. And then give here href is equal to the name of the CSS file, test link dot CSS. And now open a new file for putting CSS, in which we are going to make use of pseudo classes. Give name test link dot CSS. I am purposely giving same name so that in the sample code you can find them properly. So a colon link. So this is for the links, general links, which are neither visited nor active. So unvisited links. So color I am specifying, I will not keep them as a blue. By default color I will change to yellow. And then a colon visited links, we will put them into the color green. Okay, so let us change the default values. Then A colon active color blue. So for active I am changing to blue. Then H over, we will apply for H over color is equal to say red. So we are changing the default values. So A colon link, A colon visited, A colon active, A colon H over, that we have put now. So active we are changing to brown, because blue means normally we find it to all the links. So just make use of another color. Launch it into the Firefox. See here, they are in the yellow color first of all, and then this becomes the green ones. And then when it becomes H over, at that time it are becoming red. So likewise, they are get rendered according to the CSS that we have applied. I'm going to increase the font so that you will be able to see the links properly. Run it once again. See here, link yellow, visited are in green, active are in brown, and H over means red. So run. See, they are yellow. Then when you are moving cursor on that, it becomes H over and brown color is applied like that. And when it becomes the visited one, they are becoming in green color. Okay, so like these, you can implement the pseudo classes and you can work with the links in CSS. So thanks everyone for listening patiently. So in this session, we have learned how to work with text and how to work with links, and basically how to format the web pages by using CSS. So thank you everyone.